Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Thursday, the 19th of January, comes to you from London. And we look at the dollar index. It's climbing again this morning, so we were just nudging down to that 100 level, and we're now back above 101. Looking like we're about to make a cloud cross, so we start to see that dollar strength kick back in the short term. But for the moment, we're still not quite above on the lagging line. We do have these downside targets, and we do have a new sort of downward pressure here. Market probably just waiting for the Trump inauguration to get out of the way, but at the moment the dollar index is still just not quite breaking through in the short term. Euro is showing this strength in the short term. Conversely, we're seeing this trend change as well, but the interesting thing is we still do have the downside targets, and so for the moment, whilst the euro is looking quite good in the short term, medium and long term is still pretty bearish. If we take a look at the yen against the dollar, we see the dollar strengthening. We're through the cloud already. This is quite a nice lead indicator. We're through the cloud already, weakening yen, strengthening dollar. So that is just giving us a little bit of a heads up. Sterling jumped, of course, on Theresa May's speech in the UK, and we saw that jump. The big question is, having made that move, can we then go higher? And this is what the point and figure targets are all about. We make that big uninterrupted thrust move. If we now then go higher, we activate that. That confirms all those buyers. But at the moment, interestingly, we've had a fall away. This bit here is just there, and then a further little bit of fall, and that bit is there, and that's activated a downside target to 120.07. So it does suggest that we're going back to test the bottom. Sterling, of course, has been pretty bearish all round, so we'll only know if this is a recovery if we can sort of break that 124.30 level and hold it for a few hours. But for the moment, don't be surprised to see sterling fall back in line with the longer term trends. If we look at sterling against the euro, again we see that the jump there, the strengthening. Can we go higher here? It looks like on this chart we have a bit more chance of doing it. We don't have a downside activated target, but that may well be more about euro weakness than sterling strength, so we'll just have to see. Swiss franc, similar picture. And the Australian dollar, again, we've made that jump. Can we go higher? So that's really what we need to watch out for. Taking a look at US stock markets, bullish on all three time frames still, and we've got upside targets here activated. So it's looking pretty good. Not a lot of change going on this week. Again, things just quiet here. The Nasdaq, again, we've got a new target here, but not yet activated. But Nasdaq looking pretty bullish. When's that Dow Jones going to break to 20,000? Quite possibly not this week. We've gone back below the cloud, and we've got some downward pressure. This is just a sideways consolidation move. Don't be surprised to see that break coming at some point pretty soon. And the Russell chart looks much the same. The futures market's down very, very slightly this morning. Taking a look at the FTSE, after its mammoth run of 12, 13 consecutive days, now we're just seeing it come back below the cloud, some short-term weakness kicking in. We do have a target back to 6995. That's below the 7,000 level, obviously, but the key thing is not activated yet, and it is counter trend with everything else that's going on, so we shouldn't really be too worried about that. And we're seeing the 250. We've got targets in either direction, 4% upside and 1.4% downside. And if we take a look at the DAX, we see here we're just entering back into bullish territory, although we do have this downside target. But the picture is pretty bullish all around. Nikkei was up quite strongly overnight. We're up another 1% in Japan, so that's quite good. This new move here will give us a new thrust target. We've got upside potential here. It's Asia looking okay. We've been a bit worried about China and have been for some time. And again, we're just bearish here in the short term. Just entering back into bearish territory in the medium term, putting us on bearish. So we just do need to be aware of that. The Nikkei is still looking, the Hang Seng looking okay in the short term. And we look at the Sensex, this market just coming into bullish territory. So unlike China, this is entering into bullish territory all round, whereas China is entering into bearish territory all round. So India looking pretty strong. Australian market. Below the cloud, so a very similar picture to what we've seen on some of the European markets like FTSE, but we do have a lot of upside targets here, so we expect any move to be short-lived. Brent is pushing forward towards those high 50s targets. We are below the cloud here. We have been teetering either side of that, so quite a difficult call at the moment. But this is the strong time of year. This is what happened last year. Shouldn't be surprised to see Brent breaking and running. We're in the low 50s on WTI as well. Need to get back above the cloud to be sure of that. US nat gas below the cloud as well, so a bit of downward pressure on the short term, medium and long term looking great. We've talked about gold quite a bit. It had a bit of a sell-off yesterday. We've come back and found cloud support on the 60-minute on the lagging line, so that's not at all bad. We're probably starting to hit some cloud resistance here, but it does look like a long-term bounce here. Interestingly, we still do have this upside target. If we look at that 60-minute chart, that upside target to 1271 was activated. So we're just pulling back here onto support. We are just hitting this little downside target, but that has set us up for another move. So gold is still looking pretty good in the short term. Good that it's finding support here, but it's got work to do to maintain that trend. And of course, might hit some resistance. Much the same is true of silver. So we need to be aware of that as well. US rates on the 10-year yield 2.42%, bullish on all three time frames. So still holding its own there. Apple bullish on all three time horizons, as is Google, as is Amazon, as is Facebook. All these tech stocks actually starting to look quite good. Facebook just wandering through back onto the bullish territory there on the medium term. And Microsoft is just languishing a little bit there. And Nvidia, my best performing stock last year, I just take a quick look at that. Is it running out of steam? Is it the end? Hard to say, but we are bearish below the cloud here. Wait for a bullish cross for another move. Just a lot of volatility kicking in at the end of the trend, but and we do have some downside targets here as well as some upside. So just more uncertainty creeping in there. That's it for today. Tomorrow's charts today will come to you from Geneva. I'm busy seeing clients there. Till then, happy charting. Bye for now.